Time now for Deep Dish, though, a part of the show where we go deep on a topic or we dish about ourselves. So I really got to hear your opinion on this one, Jordan. So if you've recently started dating someone, it turns out that you might have an understudy. There's a 50-50 chance. Let me explain what this means. 50-50 chance that your partner has a backup boyfriend or girlfriend in mind in case things with you don't actually work out. So the practice of having a backup boyfriend or girlfriend is becoming more of a trend. So basically, you kind of have someone there who is just there on contingency in case you need them, in case you don't. They're just someone kind of waiting in the wings all the time.
I mean,
I actually gotta go to the bathroom. You guys want to take
hasn't this been going on since the beginning of time, though? Everyone's all, you talk to a few people until it's official. So no one wants to jump the gun too early. No one wants to be like, what are we? By date 3, you just have to wait. You have to wait and, clarify when the time comes. But I have a quote for you guys about this. Don't make someone a priority who only makes you an option. Maya Angelou is attributed to this quote.
Yeah. It's another word for it is just stringing people along. Don't string people along and don't get strung along.
I guess here's my approach to it. During my single days when I was out dating, I think there's a point where you realize it's a really bad look if there's another person in your life. Because if you're on those initial dates, it could be 5 dates, it could be 10 dates. You could have already been intimate, meaning you've gone to that place and that other person's still there. There comes a point where I don't think you need to say, are we exclusive? You just know. I mean, when I was dating and there was one person I was consistently seeing, there was somebody else on the side because I was like, this is getting serious.
Yeah.
She's not asking me about that part of life. It doesn't feel like we're to that point yet. I probably would expect or suspect she's got another guy on the side at this point. But then when you're, spending a lot of time around each other, your weekend is revolving around that person. They've met people in your life. You're spending the night consistently. They've left stuff at your place. There's telltale signs. Okay, having somebody else would really break this person's heart. And then you get rid of it. But everybody, like you said, Carly, has done this.
Yeah.
It's a long time
I know,
practice.
and it's hard not to get mad at the person once you eventually are like, oh, so when is the last person that you were dating someone at, or when is the last time that you were dating someone else? And you have that discussion. I've definitely gotten in fights about that, but it is normal to do that. It kind of hurts because you're like, wait, at this moment you were still seeing someone else? I don't understand.
It's almost been the point.
It's just really hard.
Yeah, it's almost been the point where it's solidified the relationship for me, where the woman that I was with goes, you're also talking to somebody else? And then I went, yeah, should I not be anymore?
I don't like that.
Here's the thing. The relationship should go how you were just explaining. When you get to, you were on the right track beforehand, so let's back up and rewind. But how you were basically saying that it gets to a point where you just know. It should go like that. But in 2019, I'm not taking any chances, and I suggest that you don't either. Nah.
You saw me about to say something.
Yeah, we have to be black and white, straightforward. Women have to be more upfront about what they want and their expectations, because I find I have found myself and my friends, we're just trying to, not put any pressure and, don't want to force commitment and don't want to put the, I guess, pressure on the other person because guys, don't like that pressure. And it's like, no. Say what you want and be vocal about it, and don't you lower those standards for anybody.
And once your heart is in it too, it would break once you know it would break your heart if there was someone else, you have to talk about it. You just have to bring it up. It's awkward. An easy way of saying this is, so how do you introduce me to your friends, or how do you describe me to people that I haven't met yet? You have to bridge that conversation, otherwise you're going to be heartbroken. Don't rearrange your life for anyone else until you know that they're doing the same for you.
Sister.
Guys, I feel like we're kind of on the same page here.
So women have to do that, and men also have to not only hear that, but also be honest in what they're saying that they want out of a situation and a relationship as well.
Because I've seen so many times, and I'll take the onus for guys on this. I've seen so many times where it's a perfect fit, but a guy doesn't want to stop being a player yet, and you end up losing out on something great. All I can think about right now is Ross from Friends. We were on a break. That's all I can think about when I hear this. But also, just to tie a bow on it, I feel like as you talk about the backup boyfriend or girlfriend, it's really easy to identify that now in 2019, like you're talking about. Okay, they're liking all these pictures. That comment on the picture is a little funny. who is this person?
Right.
Why are they everywhere you
if
are?
If it feels weird, it's weird.
There you go.
You gotta bring out that magnifying glass and start looking around.
Go by how things feel. Another saying I found is, if you're taking...
You make me nervous when you go around, because I know she's really good probably at that part.
Probably.
Another saying to add to what we're all commenting on is, are you taking more than what you're giving?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or are you the
giver?
The victim? Yeah. Are you the giver? Are you the one that's giving too much and you're not receiving? I think I have a lot of friends in that position. You're giving so much and not getting anything back.
Amen.
Being used.
And be a friend and identify that to help them out.
Yeah.
So those are good manners. Speaking of good manners, it's pretty easy, right, to have good manners? At least you should. You're an adult. Well, apparently not. There's a Reddit thread that popped up over the weekend, and it was asking, what is a basic rule of etiquette that everyone should know, but not everybody follows? So one of the examples given was letting others off the elevator or train before you. What are some of the basic rules you wish people would follow? They simply don't.
I would say walking more than 2 people next to each other on a sidewalk. I was walking last week, and there was like 4 guys in a row, and I was like, am I gonna have to jump into this planter to get around you guys? So I would say definitely not too many people taking up the whole sidewalk. Break up if you're in a group.
Well, going along those lines, I feel like anytime a guy's not a gentleman and I witness that, I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, walking in front of a woman before you go through a door, not opening it for them.
Yeah.
The one that always drives me crazy, and I'll walk from like 6 rows up when this happens, is you'll see a woman who's either really petite or a little bit older, and they're struggling to lift their luggage up into the carrier bin. And there's guys sitting there eating peanuts, hanging out. And it's like, dude, you see she's struggling.
Yeah.
Help her out.
Or they're with a stroller or something. I will grab a stroller and help someone take it, because come on, no one wants to have to do that alone.
A single parent traveling alone.
I had somebody stop me on the, this was maybe a month ago. Me and my fiance Shay were on a date, and we walked back to the car, and I've always opened the passenger door for her to let her in.
That's sweet.
And a woman from the sidewalk was like, wow, chivalry's not dead. And to me, I was stunned that was identified, because that's just all I've known. I'm not saying I'm a saint by any means. There's a lot of things I do wrong, but the one thing I'd love to see more of in today's world is gentlemen being gentlemen. And that's something that I just witness a lot. I think the younger generation, even younger than I, has failed to recognize that, and it's a real shame.
So they had a whole list in this article, but one thing that kind of shocked me is saying they were like, this is etiquette. And I was like, no, that's just common sense.
The list,
like you said, don't walk down the street 4 by 4. Like you have to do 2 or do 1 or something like that. That's just basic common sense. A couple other ones on here was, don't touch people unless they say it's okay. Etiquette? No.
It's criminal otherwise.
Right. Like, why does this have to be said? Let others off the elevator first. That's what we mentioned. That's just common sense. You can't get on if the elevator's packed and full of people.
But doesn't it drive you?
Not everyone has
drive you nuts when you're trying to get off and it's like a barrage of people coming on?
Yeah. So I have been that person that is like trying to get on, but until I realize, it's people. Yeah, and I move out the way. So I've been there.
Yeah.
Another one was wash your hands after using the bathroom. This is common sense. This is not etiquette.
Can I interject for 1 second?
I would say sanitize your hand after shaking.
Can we get some hand sanitizer up here right now? Because I know Jordan's about to tell us something nasty.
Sometimes it is more disgusting to wash your hands at some of these public bathrooms and grab the paper towel, grab the handle. You're right back to square one. So sometimes
what are you talking
it's not the best thing to wash.
Why
are you looking at me like
than not washing your hands?
Are you saying you opt not to wash your hands sometimes?
He's making excuses.
Don't touch me.
He's making excuses.
Don't touch me.
You're breaking etiquette.
Don't touch
me. Gross. Okay, what about airline seats? Speaking of someone in the middle, do you think that the person in the middle,
I never know the rule
because they don't have a good spot, do you think that it's their
who's entitled to the armrest? I don't know that one. I think that one, and then reclining your chair on an airplane, like, if I can recline, I'm gonna recline. Like that
100%.
In the armchair, I think whoever gets to it first.
On the
sometimes
recline,
you gotta throw the person in the middle a bone.
Yeah,
they
see, I don't know what
have
that
it rough.
On the recline thing, I agree with you. However, I do feel awkward about reclining. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't.
You just gotta pop it back and don't look back.
And if somebody says something, tell them you're a tall woman. You're a tall drink of water. I'm a tall dude. You're a tall woman. We need our spell things.
Seriously.
The other ones that drive me nuts, though, you guys just saw us. Like public places that call for quiet, whether it's on a train, an airplane, in a movie theater, anywhere. People that are on their phone and talking loudly, like if I'm in a waiting room, like I don't want to hear your conversation.
I know.
And if you're angry with your significant other, take that outside. I don't want to hear you cursing out
Or the
Gary
light on their phone.
because he came
No,
home.
I do though. I want to hear all the relationship drama. I have been so entrenched in someone's relationship, like their phone call, they've gotten off the phone and I've been upset. Just because I'm like, oh, she better get him.
Yeah.
And one time it was in a foreign language too. I was like, oh, I know what she's saying.
She is.
I don't know what she's saying, but I know what she's saying.
Get Pierre. Let Pierre know what time it is.
It was all in a foreign language. It wasn't like a noticeable language like Spanish or French or something.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what language it was, but she was letting him have it, and I know he deserved it.
You are something else. I got a power 3 of things.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this one because there's a lot of things that irritate me clearly. When I'm driving and I give somebody the right of way or let them in on a lane and they're in a tough spot on the side or something like that, I'm doing something nice. Wave. Like, just wave and say thank you. Acknowledge.
Wave, Jordan.
Can I get some in the back? Like, just acknowledge. That drives me nuts. It goes along the same lines of saying thank you for something. Just always appreciate when somebody's doing a good deed.
Yeah.
The other one that drives me nuts, and maybe it's because I'm a parent now, is when I hear kids address their parents or any parent by a first name, I want to grab that kid, although I've never met them before, and say, hey, listen to me. That is Mr. Such and Such. Don't call him Kim, Nancy, Erica, whatever. That doesn't fly.
Maybe they're progressive, though.
I don't like
Maybe they're
that.
progressive.
And then-
They're not going to call their parent Mr. Cornett. Your son's not going to call you Mr. Cornett.
But he better call the other Mr.
He means the
Cornett.
other
Oh,
parents
the
out
other
there?
parents?
Yeah.
And he better call me
know.
Dad. I'm not Jordan to my son. That one doesn't fly.
I think you start with the Mr. or Mrs. and then the parent will probably tell you, oh, just call me this.
See, I think that's
the
a
first
cultural
name.
difference. I don't ever fly with that one.
I was raised like you, but my mom's from the South. She's from Tennessee, and everyone is Mr. or Mrs. And I feel like I'm running into so many people today. Maybe it's because I'm older and they're like, why is this grown person calling me this? But I run into so many people who are like, don't call me Mr. and Mrs. And I'm like,
I still do.
It's
I
only
think it's
a
personal preference.
It's only a respect thing. Like, people get so offended. I also spent 6 years living in the South, but people get so offended, and it's like, it has nothing to do with age. It's all respect.
Yeah. And then the final one, don't yell at customer service. If your plane got canceled,
Oh, I'm going in.
It's not the person at the desk fault.
I'm
They're
going
not controlling
in.
the plane.
Yeah.
I gotta let somebody
Oh,
know
you're one
I'm
of those.
upset.
Yeah.
You're
I
one
would
of
be
those.
extra nice in hopes that they'll
It's
help
not.
you out.
They're literally getting paid very little amount of money. They have no
sometimes.
control over what's happening, and you're taking your bad day
They do
out on
have
them.
control, though.
Sometimes they need lemons. You know, they say, oh, take lemonade. No. The sweetness is not gonna cut it. I need lemons.
Oh.